because like normally, right, when people think about magicians, we somehow kind of have a bad name to certain things. In the sense that like I've met so many people who go like, oh, so you're a magician, okay, okay. Next time my children's birthday party, I'll come and invite you and all that. And I go, oh, but I don't perform for children. And then you go like, huh? Then what do you do? Then I gotta like explain like what I do for like Fortune 500 companies, dinners, luxury cruise lines, and all that kind of stuff. Then they go like, oh wow, okay.
But it's just like because I think like events, like most events, right? So magicians kind of like because of how it was set up, like I think the history behind it. So you have like people like David Copperfield, Houdini, Penn and Teller
Yeah.
managed to like pull out pull out a scene of their own.
Correct. I mean, they have their own shows in like proper theaters and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
And then Singapore is kind of like very underdeveloped for that's I think that's why that's the mystical part of it is like how do you survive? How do like what in the like, what in the world
Okay.
is
This I completely understand because again, in my experience, I don't think many people have actually met like proper working magicians and all that kind of thing and have a chat with them, right? And know whether or not like literally like what you said, how they survive and all that kind of thing, what kind of shows you do and all that.
plus it's just like I think magic the magic world is too small. The circle itself is very, very small.
It is. It
Yeah.
is very, very small. Yeah.
So
Very
it's like
niche kind of entertainment in that sense. Yeah.
but it's just, okay, I'm not so sure niche is a good word to use, but practicing it, yes, it's niche. But everyone knows magic in the world of like it's an awe-inspiring thing. Like it's an entertainment like we all know.
Correct. I understand,
But the idea of magicians like like what it is. Like,
Yeah,
like
for
how they-
full-time magicians, I think that is the really, really small market here in Singapore, which is also good. Everybody has a piece of the cake, and depending on the type of magic that you specialize in, there is everything ranging from children's parties, family day shows, corporate dinner and dances, exhibitions, and all that kind of stuff. So I do a bit of everything when I first started, and then now in Singapore I only focus on like the company dinner and dances and all that. But my main focus is cruise ships. That is my first choice, if you ask me. Yeah.
Is there a reason why you go down that path?
So you see, go down the magic path or choose cruise ships over.
Let's talk about cruise ship first. Like,
Okay.
why you chose that path before you chose magic? Like that.
Magic came first, obviously. So maybe a little backstory about like the local scene in Singapore. So in your typical company dinner and dance, they have like what we know as either a Chinese style dinner, which means every dish is being served to you and then everybody shares on a round table like old Chinese wedding, or buffet style, right? So unfortunately, and this is gonna piss a lot of people off. Unfortunately, we have dinner and entertainment at the same time,
Oh yeah.
right? So for us as entertainers, we need to fight against your food and your drinks and your yam sings and all that kind of thing to get your attention, right? And if the show doesn't go well because of poor audience response, it boils down to us, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't, like the event companies, and I don't blame them. It's been so long, over decades, since the dinners happen like that. Like in other countries, like in the UK and the US, what they do is that they have an after dinner show. So what they do is after the dinner, so whatever, how many course dinner and all that kind of thing, they finish it and all that, they will clear the tables and then rearrange the chairs and just serve drinks so that everybody can put their full attention onto the stage, whether it's your award ceremony and all that kind of thing where people get their long service awards. So people get more appreciated because now the attention is back on stage. There's
Yeah.
no food or people to distract you, and then you can watch the shows, and then followed by lucky draw, and then the dance and that kind of thing, right? So that's what most, if not all, magicians in Singapore who do all these corporate dinner and dances are struggling with.
I think
And-
most entertainers as well. Like
no, yeah, of course, singers, jugglers, comedians, and all that kind of thing. Even like our local celebrities like Kumar and all that kind of thing. I've done many shows with him, and it's like that, lor, right? That's the culture of Singapore. That's how we run dinner and dances and all that kind of thing. Very, very occasionally, I'll get 1 or 2 shows that are after dinner, and then I'll be like, wow.
But do you? I
So-
suppose you don't actively sought after that kind of
No
like.
lah. I mean, usually people they just call me and then they just ask, "Oh, are you available for this date, this date?" And I would just assume that it's a in-dinner event. It's always like that, and so that's why cruise ships changed the game for me, because now there is a theater that for that night it belongs to me. I have a group of stage crew, lighting, sound, stage manager, backstage staff, and all that kind of thing, all under my control. And they will help in everything, build the lights, cue the music to whenever you want, and all that kind of thing. And then people in the cruise ships, every day they will receive a newsletter to tell you what's happening the next day. So the main attraction is usually the theater shows. That's where the most people gather at one time. It can be 700 up to 1,000 people at the same time. And then they know what's going on. Like my name picture, my little blurb tells you what's going on. It's going to be a mind reading show. It's going to be a magic show. It's going to be, for other entertainers, it's going to be a rock violinist. It's going to be a singer that sings what kind of genre, or it could be a tribute band, that kind of thing. And people come and watch, knowing, oh, Jeremy is performing. They might not know who am I, but they know, oh, mind reading, interesting. Come, let's go and watch, right? So they'll plan their evening, right? They'll either because we do 2 shows that night, and they will either have dinner first, come to the show, or come to the show first, then have dinner.
So it's a thought out process. It's
Correct,
not like a hey, it happens.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's not. Yeah. So sometimes they book their dinner reservations, so they can have early dinner, 6 o'clock dinner. Then after that, or maybe 5:30, I think they start, and then 7 o'clock, so they can have they can kind of watch the show and all that. So what makes it great for me is that now I have this whole theater to myself, right? I can choose whatever lighting, whatever atmosphere, whatever music I want, and all that kind of thing. And I can craft up a whole show of my own without fighting against people, yam sing, eating, king, and all that kind of stuff, right? They come here to actually watch a show and experience this whole theater thing, right? So it's very different. Compare this to our local D&Ds. Sometimes if I want the lights to be slightly dim, they go oh, cannot, it's a safety issue because later people don't know where's the exit and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, okay.
But
So
okay,
you
so
understand my 痛苦, right? Yeah.
so but are there negotiations like going to be done? Okay, look, this is where it is going. Like this is how the this is why my act is going that way and stuff like that. Or they are because I'm trying to understand the whole D&D area, the D&D thing in Singapore. Because I don't do D&D in Singapore.
Yep.
So to me it's just a very bizarre kind of situation.
To put it bluntly, right, I think that the entertainers in Singapore, not just magicians but entertainers for every dinner and dance, it's just to fill time. It's a 4-hour dinner, right? And if you include pre-dinner, 5 hours easy. And it is a whole day event, right? Because you imagine this, the backdrop company has to come in early, right, to go and set up the stage. And then depending on whether or not that hotel ballroom had a event earlier or not, then that they can come in. Sound system has to set up, the stage has to set up. Then of course in the hotel side they have to set up the tables and chairs and all that kind of thing. And then the MC has to come in to do like an event brief. So go through the rundown, who are the important people to thank and all that kind of stuff and all that. And then pre-dinner. Pre-dinner will involve like pre-dinner activities. So maybe there's like a caricature artist or a wire bending or tarot card reader or close-up magician that will mingle around, and then doors open, right? Everybody goes in, and then and then they'll have like the CEO's opening speech, or maybe some awards, maybe first round of lucky draw, and then dinner, right? And then during dinner is where all the entertainment starts, right? It's either the MC playing games on stage, or magician or singers or live band, that kind of thing, to entertain them during dinner. And then in between dishes, they will have like lucky draws, and then more games, another entertainer, all the way until the final lucky draw. And then they'll probably like gather everybody to the front of the stage, and then that's dinner and dance, right? Although some companies it's more like a dinner and draw, lucky draw. So
that's our main objective, right? The lucky draw.
Yeah. And so that's the typical, very very typical dinner and dance scene in Singapore. That's how they usually run it, lah. So when people call, oh Jeremy, are you available for this date? And what I try to do is ask them to let me know if this event has a theme, or any particular message that they want to put across to the people they invite. Sometimes it's not just their employees; they also invite like guests, business partners, and all that. So they might want to thank them and all that kind of stuff. So I try to make my show unique in the sense that I will try and customize one thing in my show to that event. That way, it's more meaningful.
Yeah.
It is not just, he's just a magician. What do you do? Oh, I can't remember. Yeah. Or last year we had a magician. What do you do? Oh, I can't remember. But I want the story to be, last year we had a magician. What do you do? Oh, he actually, appeared in an award for our VIP guest or something like that. Oh, yeah, I remember that, So it's a better conversation, right? And also gives me like a little bit of an edge over other people, because now you're customizing something like maybe he performed a magic trick that encompass our company motto, or he made our logo appear or something like that, right? Better than I can't remember what the magician did. There was nothing significant, right? So that is what I try to do.
Have you done anything before doing magic, or is it just like plunged into magic all along?
So I normally tell people that I never work for anything else. I've only done magic. It's not really true in that sense that when I was waiting for my N&O level results, I did work in a restaurant in Singapore as a waiter. That's how everybody kind of, when waiting for results, they go and work and get some cash, right? And this restaurant is no more in Singapore, unfortunately. But I was also doing magic there already. So during non-peak hours, I would like, okay, since I got nothing much to do, people are waiting for their food. Why don't I just, go and entertain them? Of course, with the permission of my boss, right?
As a value add to the restaurant.
Correct. I just enjoy performing, and so to me it was always, like it's a no-brainer lah. I mean, I started magic since I was very very young, about 9 years old.
How do you what's the story behind that?
So last time, I think you and I are about the same age group. So during like festive seasons, right, on television, they will have like magic TV specials, David Copperfield and all that kind of thing. You watch their TV specials, and that kind of hooked me into, wow, this is amazing. How did they do that and all that kind of thing? So what I would do is that I'll bring my mum to the library, National Library, and I'll go and borrow books. and then I'll learn from there, lor. Because those are the things that interest me, lah. And I started with close-up magic, like cards, coins, everyday object, that kind of thing. And then that's how I started learning magic. And then I started to find magic shops in Singapore. So I went there to see people behind the counter trying to sell you certain props and all that kind of thing, you know, that's best for whatever lah. And that's how I started. And then I actually quit that that waitering job just to go work in a magic shop.
Okay. Okay.
Because that was what I wanted. And it would fast track me to learn more magic. And the reason is this, because I'm part of the staff in the magic shop, right? I'm the magic demonstrator. So after the shop closed, I could bring back books, props, or videos to bring home to watch them and learn and all that kind of thing, as long as I bring it back the next day.
Yeah.
And so I would just eat all the information up, right? And
is the magic shop still around?
they have changed owners, I think. Yeah, but there were a couple of magic shops that I used to frequent and all that kind of thing. And so it is just for me to devour all the information and learn as quickly as I can and as much as I can. And then the next day I'll bring them back and then, okay. So at least I know the product also.
Yeah.
Right? So, this is something that the shop wants to push or wants to sell. Okay, I bring back. Or during my free time when there's nobody in the shop, I'll open up and then I'll see, right? I'll go and watch, I'll go and read the instructions and all that kind of thing to learn and then try and practice, lah. And so that's how I kind of started. And then when people started coming into the shops and all that, they went like, Jeremy, since you are doing all this kind of magic, would you come to our like wedding reception, or my husband is having his birthday party, would you like to come and like entertain us, and all that. I was like, okay leh.
You can do this. Why not? Yes.
Right. To me it was like, okay leh, right. So I was like, okay lor, right. So we set a date and all that kind of thing, then I would come. And that's how I actually started earning like my first kind of like professional money lah from performing magic. And back then there was no social media. They had Friendster lah, right? But that's how old I am.
I remember that.
We all remember that. Yeah. So, and then it was name cards, right? And I remember my name card was like a Yahoo Mail thing.
Yeah.
Address and a phone number. That's it. I didn't even have jeremytan.com, right? And funny story about the website as well. jeremytan.com used to be owned by an engineer or a mathematician in Singapore. And he would post all these formulas and engineering stuff and all that. And I'll be like, I want this website so bad. So I would check every single day. I swear, I check every single day for like around 1.5 years to 1 year, 9 months, something. Every day I would check. And then one day, just jeremytan.com, it was my bookmark bar. Click, entered it, and then it was available. I was like, okay. Then I added my website onto, the my name card and all that kind of thing. And it was still all like word of mouth lah. I would, give out name cards and all that kind of thing. Then I started working with event companies. And then, it's way easier that way because they help you sell yourself. You don't have to actively go out, cold call companies and all that kind of thing to try and sell your services. They have clients that work with them for a long time and all that kind of thing. So this year D&D, I'd like to propose this magician or this mind reader and all that. So they'll handle everything.
But is it okay? So right now, I feel like the whole live entertainment industry is like okay, look, this is the it's always events company that's pulling everything together, and it's kind of like how does it really work? Like, I suppose events company take a card, then after that you take a card, then after that it's like.
So I think how I'm not exactly sure how every event company works, but from my experience, so obviously when they started from zero as a new startup event company, they have to cold call, lah, right? To show people like, we can do this kind of events, blah blah blah, show them pictures, videos, we can hire this kind of MCs, this kind of entertainment, and all that kind of stuff. And then once the client, which is the company, agrees, they will sit down and discuss like, okay, let's set a theme for this year. Maybe it could be back to school or around the world, or heroes versus villains, that kind of stuff. So it gives the guests some idea of what the night is gonna be by dressing up and all that kind of thing, right? So can you imagine like heroes versus villains?
So some people
Some
dress
is
as
Superman,
heroes,
some people will be like Darth Vader, that kind of thing, right? So it's quite fun, lah. It's quite fun. Then, so that's the overarching theme of the event, right? So, and then they will, I think that's how the events company work, lor. They will cater. They are mostly a one-stop solution thing. So they will power everything from theming the event to backdrop, sound system, MC, entertainment, everything. So they will just give them like a one whole package kind of thing. Okay, we are gonna have this. Then of course the client can feedback and say, oh, okay, maybe we don't want to have a live band. Can we change it to a singer instead? That kind of thing. Or maybe, we don't want a magician. Can we have a juggler instead, or comedian instead, and all that? Excuse me. And then of course they have to talk about like the price, like, because different entertainers different amount, right? So I think all this discussion has to go through first, and then once the event is set, then event day, and then so what we do is, as entertainers, we just charge the event company whatever price we want to charge. Whether they mark up or not to the client is another thing, lah.
It's between the company and
For me, it's just me and the event company. This is the price we agree on. You can charge 3 times more,
It's
and
out,
it's your own prerogative, lah, right? And if clients say okay, then okay, lor, you earn more than me, lah, right?
but
Very rarely, lah, very rarely.
But what's the path of what's the path of like being a magician? Because it feel okay. This is what I've done, right? I used to be a digital marketing guy for TV. Then your name keeps popping up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
And some other guys as well. I
Interesting.
think there's this one where he went into Got Talent. I'm not so sure whether it's America. I'm not so sure. I think it's US Got Talent. Then
is he local or is he Malaysian?
I think I'm not so sure his nationality, but he's the one that does the iPad or something like that. Like a pet man, like
Oh,
a tab-
iPad. Asia's Got Talent. I think you're talking about TK Jiang.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Then
Asia's Got Talent. Yeah.
then it's just like a
a
very
golden buzzer winner or something.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Then there's this guy called Horopan or something like that.
Harapan?
Harapan. or
Yeah,
something
I
like-
know Harapan.
So
personally, yeah.
so basically it's like the magic itself, the magic circle itself, it seems to be very small.
It is, yeah.
Then after that the social media game is a very strong asset.
It's way smaller.
Yeah. So
Social media game is just, oh my god.
Is it hard for you because I got to know you because your social media game is very, very strong.
I'm okay. Not very, very strong, but
or,
I'm
or,
okay.
or at least stronger in that.
Yeah, of course.
So,
But I only kind of started like posting short form videos in 2021, January of 2021. That's when I actually started my TikTok account also. And because they are vertical videos and under 1 minute, I post them on every platform. So Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. These are the 4 main platforms that I post on, lah. And 2021 January. So almost coming to 2 years now, right? Oh, coming to my 3rd year already.
yeah.
Yeah, wow, time flies. Yeah, but back then it was also because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I wanted to do this. It was just okay, lor, I got the gear,
Why not, right?
Yeah, then got to start thinking of ideas and all that kind of stuff. And then for me, because I study very traditional media in poly.
Okay.
And vertical video is the weirdest thing to us, right? How can people view videos vertically? Allow then I have to shoot videos vertically. I was like,
Like I suppose you take it with a phone, or do you do like a do you have like a special camera for that, or
so I take it. I don't take my phone. I use a Sony mirrorless camera to do it, and now I absolutely love it. Like vertical video is the way to go. It's just easier to view lah on your phone because
Yeah.
your phone is vertical, right? And I guess I'm the kind of person that embraces technology. I love technology. Like we can, if we have a little podcast about gear and the stuff that I use, right? Wow, we can go on and on because I love tech, and I watch a lot of like tech reviews and all that kind of thing, and see what suits me the best, and I learn lor. So it was for me also a learning process, not just a learning process as a content creator, because content creator is a very broad term. Like for yourself, you are also a content creator, right? But people only hear and see the end result, which is your podcasts. Same, they only see my videos. But what goes on behind that? Like for myself, the type of camera I want to use, right? Then do I want to shoot in 4K? Do I want to shoot in 1080? What kind of lens? It must be wide enough to shoot vertical videos.
what do you want to produce?
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
like
we are a one-man team to do everything,
Yeah.
right? And then after all that editing, color grading, and all that kind of nonsense, after we post the video, then we gotta share the videos, right? Nobody's gonna help us share, right? We are
you
our
gotta
own.
put in the money for the ads.
Exactly, right? Yeah, so I've never paid for ads. I don't know how they work. So yeah, it's all like organic and all that. And then after that, you still got to engage with your community, right? You got to reply to comments and all that kind of thing. Then and all that. And so it's a very steep learning curve. And I started learning all this in 2020. February of 2020, when I came back from my last cruise ship during the pandemic. Then back then, 2020, there was still this thing called quarantine order,
Yeah.
where they will pay you like $100 and all that kind of thing for you to stay at home. So we came back from the cruise ship that had no cases, but because we were the only two Singaporeans, we had to be placed in quarantine lah. But thankfully, we can quarantine in our own homes because just myself and my wife. And then that was those 2 weeks. I just devoured every information I can on like content creation, video, audio, what kind of mics to use and all that kind of thing, how to edit videos, what is a J card, what is a L card, what is everything. And I told myself, okay, I'm going to produce one video a week. That's the baseline until today.
Man.
And it's like any video, long form. That was like 2020, right? So there was there was already short form videos, but it's just that TikTok wasn't very in Singapore, lah, right? And back then I had the same mentality of, wow, TikTok are very cringe. I think cannot lah. Right? It's all the 小妹妹 dancing and all that. Better not lah. So then 2021 I started. Actually the platform took a turn. Like it was more entertainment, education. Yes, there was still some like trending audio, people do dances and all that kind of stuff, and I still watch them. It's just that I think now TikTok has evolved to become more
Mature.
Yeah.
I think that's where all the social media thing is.
It's funny, like I go like my house kopitiam, I can see uncles watching TikToks, and I was like, wow, actually it's something, it's not like it's not like for the young people only. It really. And if I look at my analytics, I can see also. Like, I know my TikTok audience from anywhere from age 13 all the way to 65. I was like, wow, okay there.
I don't understand the TikTok analytics at all. Because I mean I understand it, but I do not know how to capitalize it. So I don't understand the whole data behind it.
I also don't 100% understand it, but you can see certain things will tell you whether or not this video does well. So things like
The number of views.
number of views is not important. I think it's a feel good number.
Ah.
Definitely for me, it's a feel good number. Like, yeah, okay, 5 million views on one video, right? Feels damn good.
But it also tells you like the direction of what kind of videos they want.
Yes and no. The more important things are average view percentage or average view duration. So how long can you keep your audience for? Do they click off, in the first 3 seconds? Then you know this video needs some
Tweaking and stuff,
tweaking. And then how many shares, how many saves, how many comments, what are they commenting about, right? So magic for me can be many things. It can be controversial. It can be funny.
Define controversial.
Controversial is like the very first time I became viral was because of controversial technology that is used in magic. So imagine this. So the video starts off like that. My phone has like 10% battery, and then I introduce this card. It's a card with a slot in the middle that you can see through one. And then you just take this card and place it. It's called a charge card. Take this card, you place it on your phone, and then it will start charging your phone. And then you see the battery literally go from 10% to 100% in 10 seconds, right? And then you just remove the card and now the battery is charged. And so that was the very first video and the first time I became viral. I posted it at night, went to sleep. Next morning I woke up, 100k views. Back then I was getting 2,000-3,000 views a video. 100k was like, holy shit, I'm famous. The morning I woke up, 100k, right? And then the whole day, afternoon, evening, all the way, it hit 1 million views. I was like, what is going on? I had to literally turn off my notification on TikTok because there was so much comments and all that kind of thing and stuff. Couldn't reply them in time and all that. And I was like, wow. And then slowly, I think now it's sitting on like 3 million or something like that. And then I realized, oh yeah, it's something controversial. Like, because this is something that people will comment on. They will say it's fake. And then on the other hand, people will say, where can I buy this? Right? And then it's something that people will share with other friends. Like if I were to see this video of somebody doing something like that and say, hey, what the hell? I'll send it to my family group chat or, hey, have you seen this? Is this real? So there's a lot of like discussion. There's so controversial. That's what I mean. Magic. Then comedy can be something funny, right? Comedy magic is it's a thing. Then I think what stands out for me in Singapore here is the gambling stuff that I do.
Okay.
Because many people are, of course, interested in wanting to win in a card game, right? And so, especially Singaporeans, every festive season, we have mahjong, we have poker, we have, ban lak and all that kind of thing, right? And then now it's nearing the Chinese New Year season already, right? So the festive, because it's like almost back to back, right? So I think I'll be posting more of those gambling stuff. Hopefully get traction, that kind of stuff.
Anti-gambling association.
Yeah. I always put like hashtag don't gamble and all that kind of thing. Maybe I should.
Association.
It's National Gambling Protection.
Yeah, National Gambling Protection.
Are they on TikTok? Maybe I should think about it.
Hey, do you want to work?
Yeah, I should. See what people can do and then, hire me to be a marketing guy.
Okay, so here's this thing about magic, right? Why mad? Like, what's the... But I'm not so sure whether I'm trying to put this thing like a philosophically wise.
Why magic?
Why magic?
Magic is...
Or at least how much of how engrossed you are when it comes to magic with your secondary school friends.
Oh.
When you were younger or even primary school friends.
Primary school, I didn't really perform magic for my friends. Secondary school, yes. I performed at every opportunity I had, even on like Teacher's Day, Speech Day, that kind of stuff.
Is it
Me and my friend.
Is it all theatrical or is it just like
It's
straight?
all on stage, man.
Yeah.
It's all on stage, all on stage. And then we don't even have costumes. We perform in our school uniforms. We would build our own props in the school. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be very logistically heavy?
Yeah, it is. We had no idea how to build stuff and all that kind of thing. I mean, design technology, right? We sucked at it. Why magic? I feel that magic is an art form that really, one thing breaks all language barriers, right? I don't even have to talk to perform something for you, and you will know and understand. Magic has everything. It can go through all sorts of emotions, right? It can be a happy kind of magic. It can be funny. It can be also very emotional if I share an emotional story with the audience, right? And magic can also, what magic can do is that it can tickle the inner child of an audience, right? I don't care whether you are 5 or you are 50 or 99 years old. If you watch magic live, there is something inside you that will go, wow, you know.
I always thought it would go two direction. It would go, oh my god, like this is amazing.
Correct.
Like how like
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
guy go, I fake one.
Yeah. Correct. And I get a lot of that, you see. So people say, especially like Chinese, right? They will say, magic 骗人的. Correct? Bluff people one. Then, if you watch soccer, if you watch basketball, and then somebody does a fake move, right? Also 骗人 what? But, wow, it's a highly regarded sport, right? So, the problem with magic that like somehow not being recognized as an art form like ballet, violin, that kind of stuff, is probably because of skepticism.
I think it's not the high form, not the high level art that we are looking when we talk, or at least in Singapore, when we talk about art, right? We talk about those high level art, jazz musician.
Correct.
And but if you're going up on stage and tell joke, you're like, oh, okay, you're an entertainer, right? Like
Yes.
there's a huge discrepancy between an entertainer and an artist, right? An artist, you do theater art.
Agree.
You do play. Oh, look, yeah, acting, right?
Yeah,
Like,
agree.
you do projects and stuff.
Which brings me back to my first point, right? Of saying, magic, for children,
Yeah.
right? You're a magician, so you perform for children. So the mentality, and that's what I'm trying to do on these social media platforms. I'm trying to kind of like bring magic back to, like bring out its good name, Magic has been my life, right? And to me, I love everything about magic, including the learning, preparation, performing, and seeing the audience reactions. Obviously on social media, it's a very different, ball game, very different playing field, because people can just scroll away. If they see my face, they don't like, they can just scroll away. They don't even want to invest like 10 seconds of their time, So I feel that, for me, magic is still one of the best kind of art forms. I do hate, and this I tell my singer friends also, I do hate singers. So on the cruise ship, right, there are different entertainers. There's like me, magician, mind reader, then there's singers, there's rock violinists, there's pianists and all that kind of stuff. And I always tell my singer friends that I hate them. The reason is because a singer, right, can get a standing ovation or a huge reaction in the first 2 seconds of them opening their mouths. We have seen it happen on talent shows so many times, right? Somebody comes on, music goes on, sings the first 2 lines of I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. Boom, standing ovation, right? Magic, unfortunately,
You have to wait. Like
there is a beginning, there's a middle, then we reach the climax, right? And lor. I mean, we
you
can't
like a
help
certain
it
form
lah.
of
Correct.
investment in the-
Yeah. It needs to tell a story and all that kind of stuff. And because like songs and singers, people have been listening. This is like music in general has been a media since the very beginning of entertainment. We started from radio, right? So music and all that kind of thing, even in bars and all that kind of stuff last time, it's all music.
I think it's
right?
also because it's accessibility, even when it comes to logistically wise.
Correct, yeah. And also because, they can be anywhere. As long as we go through like cassette tapes, we will buy our favorite artists' cassette tapes, CDs, right? And then whatever. And then now we get to hear them on Spotify and all that kind of stuff, Apple Music.
Can you imagine streaming magic with just audio only?
Yeah, that's quite difficult. Which is funny because we did try, a group of us did try Clubhouse. It was a thing, it was an audio only platform. And because pandemic lah, so we're not doing anything. I was like, oh, okay lah.
Let's try.
Let's try.
And then see how it
we
goes.
try and do some like magic over the radio kind of thing. It was like quite interesting also. So yeah, magic as an art form, I feel that it's, to me, is very 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 dear to me, and I hope that through social media I can bring out the good name in magic lah. Like magic is really fun. It is, you can entertain your friends, family, even if you don't do it professionally, right? It can really trigger the inner child of any age group lah, of any doesn't matter where you are from also. So hopefully lah, that's still the goal lah. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm just curious about your family. Like, is it like are you exposed to magic when you are younger, except for the TV special?
No lah.
Or you are the only magician in the house?
Yeah, I'm the only magician in the house. There is no other magicians. My dad and my brother used to perform simple card tricks that they buy from magic shops for me. But that was it. Like, I remember my brother would perform this card trick for me where I would select a card and then from a deck, and then it would keep appearing to the top of the deck. And then he would show me all the cards are different, and then he would continue doing, and then the card will keep appearing back to the top.
Is
And
it like
then
this?
in the end, the whole deck changed to the card I selected. And then he would put that deck of cards so high up in his cupboard, right? I cannot reach it. So yeah, if you're listening to this, I remember. And yeah, lor, nobody in my family were entertainers to begin with. Nobody was in the entertainment industry, so I'm the only one.
But do you face a lot of like friction when you end up saying, "Hey, I want to do this"? I suppose that's the very Asian thing, or even very Singaporean
Very
thing.
Asian, yeah. And I don't blame them. Looking back, I don't blame them. Of course, you will get the Jeremy, when you're gonna get a proper job, right? Or can you do magic on the side and then find a full-time job and all that? What I actually did was I actually gave up my spot in university just to do magic.
Oh, okay.
Because I needed performing experience. I don't need a degree to do magic. I needed performing experience. I needed to get out there and perform and all that. I knew I wanted to be a magician quite early.
But how do you know like there's a career path for this though? Like I suppose you went to enough D&D to or
No.
enough to.
That was way before I did anything. I just enjoyed, number one, performing. Number two, getting the audience reactions. And made their day slightly better than it was before. They could have a very bad day. Then after watching magic, even just for 5 minutes, like in that 5 minutes, they forgot all the bad things that happened to them. And so...
But how do you know that, okay, look, this is a career path that can go?
Didn't know. No, completely zero idea. Never knew I was... but I just knew I wanted to do magic full time. And I had to find a way. Of course, now it seems like, okay lah, Jeremy is performing on cruise ships and all that kind of thing and all that. But it is not a very pretty path. Yeah. There are times where I remember very, very clearly, there are times where I would go to the ATM, I would try and press money back in the days and then
You
I-
found that you
I
have
had-
only $19.
I had Exactly. I had money in my bank, but it was below the minimum to cash out, right?
Oh, fan. Oh, yeah.
So I remind myself to never, go there again. And it's not easy, really. Like there are people who tell me, "Oh, I'm gonna try and I want to stop studying. I want to quit my uni education and then do magic full time." And I say, "No, never do that." Like my path was, I would say, a bit of luck, a lot of hard work, and given the right opportunity lah. Like I always believe that luck is when you are ready for that particular opportunity, then people think that you are lucky.
But
Right.
then, here's this thing, right? If you don't choose the path where you have chosen, would you be like, so this is just me thinking because I'm in that situation pretty much like I'm still in that situation around 60% to 70% of the time.
Okay.
That's why I drive Grab as
Yeah.
as a day job,
Yeah.
right? So but I'm still like, hey, maybe this can work, maybe that can work, right? But there's this part of me I just go, if I have enough time of my own to invest in that situation, it would save my ass more than like it will, like my career path will go a lot better from where I am right now.
Agree.
Yeah, so it's so you either like support yourself through that situation or you let's do this at the side, and when you do this at the side you will not invest yourself a lot more than
I agree with that. Like if it's your full-time job, then of course you have to, put time and effort into it and invest in it lah. So like for me, it's the same thing also. Like now content creation is like a sideline, right? It is not my main income. My main income is still doing shows, going on cruise ships and all that. But yet I invest a lot of money into it because it's something I'm passionate about. Content creation, not just making magic videos. I love making product reviews. I love making vlogs. I love just sharing my story through video with the world, right? And that's why I, post all my long form videos are on YouTube. Every other short form videos, they are all on every other platform. They don't go on these platforms. And for me, it's of course if you have the money to begin with, then it's easy for you to step into what you're passionate about. So like if people want to become like full-time magicians, I say in Singapore, you can try. It's not easy. First, the market is very small. Number two, I've been working this market for over 20 years now. Okay. If imagine this, imagine Gary, you are a magician, very skilled, more skillful than me. Okay, you can do more amazing magic than me. All right, but you are new in the market, right? And then you try and sell yourself to the event companies. Would the event companies risk their clients' dinner and dance to choose somebody that they've never worked with? Or would they choose me that has been in the industry for over 20 years? And so it takes time to build. I'm not saying that they won't, they will. Like if I'm not available and I say, okay, you can go and look for Gary, right? And then, okay, I can trust, can okay, steady.
But then
Go.
again, here's this thing, right? I do comedy at the side, right? Like for shit and giggles, right?
Oh, nice.
So here's this thing that I realized, right? Sometimes, I'm not saying that I'm good. I'm just saying that there are times where, how to define good magic though? Here's this thing, right? There are some magician who's very good at certain thing, but they lack of the experience in maybe audience engagement, right? Sometimes they are very good at. I remember like talking to Aman, who's like saying there's this guy who just very good like
With cards,
with cards, right? And then there's this one magician who's very good with the ball with a ball trick or something like that.
Okay.
So he was just very good at it, but he cannot engage, but he doesn't have the experience of the audience engagement.
Correct.
but audience engagement is a very big part of magic. Where
I mean, yes and no. Magicians have different type of magicians. So there are magicians who perform at gala shows where they hire like a bunch of magicians that will come together and they will do their individual acts. And normally these magicians, what they will do is that they will go to some major magic competitions, they will compete, win prizes, and that's how they get hired to do all these shows.
so that's where your Penn and Teller.
No. So Penn and Teller, they have their own show. That's very different. So like for example, let's say
I
okay,
mean,
they,
like
they
they have
are
a show called Lie to Me or something like that.
yeah, Full
right?
Us, Full Us.
Oh, full us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then
So that is a concept of a show lah. It's almost like a magic talent show almost, right? And say for example, Shin Lim, he's a two-time America's Got Talent winner, and because he won America's Got Talent, he have his own theater in Las Vegas, and where he does shows on a daily, nightly basis with another magician lah. And so these are the people that ultimately every magician want to be, right?
yeah.
To have your own theater and all that kind of stuff, which is nice, but I kind of prefer being able to travel. The theater is still there, right? It just needs a bit of more setup and all that kind of thing. But I get to travel and see the world at the same time, right? So there are magicians that you never heard of that are really, really good, and they only do all these touring shows. So, like for example, I don't know if you have seen The Illusionists. It's a bunch of magicians, top magicians in the world, and they will travel to different countries, different cities, and perform their magic. And individually, they are like award-winning magicians.
Are they? Have they? Are they?
They were here in Singapore like 3 times already. Yeah. Always at the Marina Bay Sands Theatre. And one of them, known as the manipulator, basically what he does is like beautiful magic, show his hands empty and appear playing cards out of thin air kind of thing. So what he does is that he actually won some competition, and because his act is very good, and so they hire him to be part of the Illusionists just to do his act. Yeah. So if you were to put him in a dinner and dance environment,
He will work.
first maybe the lighting, the mood, and all that kind of thing won't work. Secondly, but I believe he can. He definitely can entertain a crowd of corporate people and all that kind of thing. No issues there. Some magicians are only 1 or 2 act wonders. Means they only have these 2 acts, that they are known for. So they can entertain a crowd. I think for most magicians who are doing this, they can entertain a crowd 100%. It's just that they are known for this particular act that they do.
This particular act, he's
This
just an
8
illusion.
minutes.
Oh,
That's it.
okay.
Of me appearing cards and making balls multiply in my hands, and it's just visual magic done to beautiful music and all that kind of stuff. And it's just what they are known for. Lor. And
Here's this thing.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you want to improve your act, like increase your act to, but because that sounds you are very restricted to open, like there's limitation when it comes to like improving your.
no, there's no limitation in improving the act. That's a very interesting question. So yeah,
Because if when I do comedy, right, when I try my own jokes and stuff,
Yeah.
I would want to do new stuff. Like there's or at least the artist in me, like,
Correct.
who wants to see whether this works out,
try new
whether there
material
were
and
new
all that.
material and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't grow and I would get sick of the act. So
I agree. So I still do it till today. I will put in maybe 80 to 90% of the show that I know will work, and then the 10 to 20% I'll throw in a new material that I'm working on, just to see what kind of reaction, and then I don't just do it once. I do it over a series of maybe 6 months or something like that. Just change and come up with better material lah. Like your stand-up comedy is the same, and then see what works and then tweak it and all that kind of thing, and then ultimately it will make it to the main show. And then once I'm comfortable, okay, let's take out this one, and then we put in something new, that kind of thing. So you won't be stagnant. You are always improving, always all that. Unfortunately, the older generation of magicians in Singapore, they are kind of still stuck in that era where they peaked at the highest point of their career, and then it's been 20, 30 years now, and they're still doing the same material. I'm not saying it's not good. Classic magic is a genre of magic, and I've seen amazing classical magicians in my lifetime. I was just talking to my wife about it also just last night, thinking back about the shows that we watch, and we could name a few classic acts that we really, really enjoy. Like if I was, even now as a magician, when I watch him perform, this guy, his name is Marco Cavo, and he performs with doves and parrots and cards and all that kind of stuff. And this act is so polished. Like if you were a kid, right, and you imagine how a magician would be,
He's
that's
that guy.
exactly how it would be, right? He's in classic tailcoat, top hat, that kind of stuff, right? And then it's just done beautifully. Like you have no idea where the birds come from, and they just appear in front of you. And that's a genre of magic. I believe that he is famous for this act, right? But he can definitely entertain a crowd for 45 minutes, no problem. But if people were to hire him, they will hire him for this bird act instead of the rest of the 45 minutes, because like this is what represents him. That's his branding, right? It's the same. It's like you asking Usain Bolt to do high jump. I think he can, but he's more famous for running.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like asking Cristiano Ronaldo to play basketball, that lah, right? Yeah. I mean, you do know that all these athletes, they have like Rafael Nadal and all that kind of thing. They got other sports that they play also, right? They might not be as good as whoever is in that sport, but they just do it for fun, right? And they are good at it, just not at that level, correct? But when it comes to tennis,
Their thing, right?
right, it's their thing.
Yeah.
So it's the same law. For these magicians who perform that one act very, very well, they can do the rest of the magic for sure. They can entertain the crowd, but that's what they're known for, and hence they get hired to do which I really envy lah, because that's an even harder route to go. Like you gotta push all your effort, passion, and all that kind of thing all into this 8 minutes. And then there are so many people who try and do it and don't make it. Only a selected few in the whole world can actually do something like that.
What is every magician's ideal? Okay, I think that success is a relative term. But how would you think, or what is the thing that that okay, I'm David Copperfield right now.
Nobody can be David Copperfield.
Or I can call myself like David Copperfield in, like, because when we talk about magic, right?
Yeah.
We talk about magicians, right? We're thinking about success, right? Like what does the idea of success means? Because I'm thinking like whether David Copperfield or David Blaine or like be who they are right now. Because so do they? I suppose I consider success, right? So is that where every magician want to be?
My short answer is no. Obviously, I think like what you say, success is a very relative term, right? Everybody views success differently. Like, for example, people can say, oh, I got 10,000 followers on social media, I'm successful, right? And then while the other guy has like 1 million. And then, So, what is successful, I guess it's what the magician ultimately wants. and is constantly working towards that goal, that is what makes a successful magician or entertainer lah, in that sense. Like if we talk about entertainment in general, even including stand-up comedy and all that kind of thing, like if I were to ask you, what is your definition of success? You know, maybe you would say having your own Netflix show. That is, you know. And then after that,
What's the next step?
right? So you have reached already. Then what's your next thing, right? So it's always growing. It's always changing. It's always like last time, for me, when I was doing children's parties and family days, your CC and RC family day shows and all that kind of thing. I always wanted to be a corporate magician. Wow, they can perform in hotel, aircon, can wear nice, right? And then here we are sweating our asses off, right? And like, well, one day I also want to become a corporate magician, right? And then I reached that goal. I was a corporate magician for a good 10, 12 years, 15 years maybe. And then after that,
What's next step?
What's next, right? Yeah, a bit stale already, right? But you forget to look back at how you started, right? You were doing close-up magic for wedding receptions and people's birthday parties, private events, right? And then you moved on to family shows, children's birthday parties. Then you move on to corporate magic, right? Where you perform for like, you know, the biggest companies out there, like Google and all that kind of stuff, right? And then you think like, what's next, right? And so I think my natural progression was cruise ships. Yeah. And I started performing on cruise ships in 2015 until 2020. Then the whole world took a break for 2 years, right? So I just recently came back from my first cruise ship gig after 2 years, 8 months. It was down under Middle Earth and Australia. So New Zealand and Australia. And then it was just very surreal. Like, me and my wife, we absolutely love performing on cruise ships. It's not just performing there, but the lifestyle, and just in the morning or at any time you look out into the sea and it's just beautiful, right? And then sometimes you will see whales, you will see dolphins in the wild, you will see rainbows in the sea and all that kind of stuff, and it's just beautiful. So I enjoy doing this, and then now it's like, again, what next, right? Without the pandemic, I would not have stepped into the social media game, I swear. The reason is this: I've been using social media since they started. Like when Facebook started, I was in, right? And for me, it has always been a place for me to just update my friends and family about where I am, what's happening, what I'm eating, that kind of stuff. I'm a very typical social media user, right? Just to see what are my friends and family up to and all that kind of stuff. Birthday dinners, right? Take a group photo and pose. And that's very typical, right? Until the pandemic. Then it was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that you could use social media as a form of marketing or leverage to increase your chances of getting hired.
But that's this thing, right? Like you don't know until you found a path, right? To do what you do.
Correct. Obviously, I didn't start off social media with a plan.
Yeah.
It was just for fun. You know, I still want people to know that I'm still doing magic. Okay. And the only way to do it was through social media. And I started posting videos. Now, my first few videos were complete shit, right? Good quality video. The quality of the video is good. The magic was good. But as a viewer, I would scroll away.
Understand.
It was too boring. I was just performing to music, right? The skill, the effect was great. But I was just performing to music and I just didn't know what I wanted. But I had fun. That was the whole point, right? I had fun creating, filming, editing, posting, sharing with my friends, and engaging with the community. And then I realized, actually this could go somewhere.
But here's this thing, right? Because you talk about engagement, right?
Yep.
Here's this one thing that I'm just curious. Where, what happened to Shin Lim? Like what happened if he chose? I know he doesn't have to right now. But what happens if he choose a path that, like, like his style of magic,
Mm.
where he doesn't have to speak,
Yep.
and he just like do whatever tricks out there.
Yeah.
I don't think it will reach the engagement of what you have right now. When it comes to just if he does like social media and stuff like that.
I mean, the social media path for him has been built because
With the,
when he was on America's Got Talent, and every performance, millions and millions of views on YouTube, right? So people know him, right? And through the era, right, different media has triumphed over other media, like radio. That was the only media you had. Then black and white TV came out, right? And it's like, wow, game changer. Now it's visual, right? And then, movie theaters and all that kind of stuff. And then now, this era is social media. I mean, no offense, but only my parents watch traditional media, right? I mean, even my dad is on TikTok, right? And he just watch lah, right? So, social media has become a thing, right? For people to, it's the now media, not your TV anymore, right? And so, if for Shin Lim, he was the path was kind of built for him because social media, YouTube, America's Got Talent, and prior to that, he won first place as a magician in a magic competition in card magic, right? And so it just carry on, propelled himself all the way. He was also posting social media magic kind of stuff and all that. So, I mean, for him, I haven't spoken to him for a long time, but maybe one day he earn enough money already. Then contractually not obligated to be with anybody anymore, right? To be with this hotel anymore. Then maybe he will call it quits. Or maybe he want to do something that he enjoy. Maybe he just wants to teach magic. Or maybe he wants to, start a family and all that kind of stuff. So everybody has their own, right? So, like, we all think that Shin Lim is successful, but he might be thinking, what's next for me? Like, I've reached the epitome of entertainers now. I have my own show in Vegas. What else do I want?
Here's this thing. Here's this thing that from the bottom who's struggling right now.
Yeah.
Right. Here's this thing where I'm thinking right now. I'm still struggling here.
Yeah.
And I want to be, and if I can be the epitome of whatever craft I'm doing right now, wouldn't it be easier for me to get a gig? Or wouldn't it be easier for me to get a job? Say a hotel contract has ended. I suppose there's this like say, hey, I'm a free agent right now, right? As much as I want to, like you won't fall as far as say if Shin Lim stop doing 5 years, 10 years now, right? Stop doing magic for 5 years and want to go back.
Yeah.
He may not get the bigger. If he doesn't screw up his name terribly, right? Like committing a crime or something.
Correct.
Let's just say he just like ended off like 5 years and say, hey, I want to come back to do magic. I suppose like at some level he may not get back to the A-list theater.
Okay.
He may get like a B-list or even C-list theater in a country. So that's where I'm thinking along the lines that I kind of want to be the best at my craft at so it's easier for me to take like 2-3 years hiatus and come back again.
I think the first thing you need to think about is what makes you different from other stand-up comedians. Why would I choose you over somebody, say Rishi, right? So I know Rishi because we do events together and all that kind of stuff, or Fakafaz and all that, right? And they are very different comedians, right? So if you don't stand out, and back then Shin Lim stood out because he was crazy hair, right? No talking, epic music. While magicians are,
Still doing the street craft.
Correct, right? And so he was different. And a lot of the non-magicians see him as, wow, this guy is, different. He didn't make magic boring, right? So maybe for your side, you should think of, what makes you different? What can you do to make yourself different? Now, it's the same for me for social media magic. So earlier on, I said that I try and customize one thing in my show for my clients so that I'm unique in that sense, right? And so that is how I kind of market myself, right? And then on social media, there are a lot of social media magicians. There are a couple in Singapore, and there are a lot more with like tens of millions of followers in the US and all that kind of thing. And what makes them different, right? So you have to stand out in a crowd of there's no one job that only one person can do lah. Let's put it that way. So for yourself, I think, what makes you different? What makes your jokes different? Are you more the kind that is offensive or more relatable, or So I think that is the first question.
Because I'm not looking at just the like a comedy sense, comedy point of view. Like,
Okay.
Because I'm thinking along the lines where it's more than just the business side of things where I lose my train of thought.
Not just so being an entertainer lah, right? And the whole
let's
business.
just say not just entertainer, but I'm just trying to see what I can apply to other aspects of life as well. So like being different, I say I want to be like that kind of comedian, I want to be the kind of magician, I want to be the kind of singer, I want to be the kind. So yeah,
you see the I wouldn't say sad, the truth about being, like, for me, this is based on my own experience. There are some magic that I perform for my viewers or my audiences, whether it's live, whether it's on social media, that I absolutely hate. I don't like it, but they love it. So you got to find balance. You got to do some for them and then some for yourself.
so you got to sell your soul a little bit just so they can.
Yeah, So if I were to, but you see, it's a very bold move if you do everything for yourself, and if it works good. Shin Lim is the perfect example, right? It was very radical, epic music, hair, and all that kind of thing. Some people love it, some people don't, right? But he just pushed on with it, and look at him now, right? He has his own show in Vegas. So for me, I kind of like want to strike a balance. There are a few things in my shows that I don't like performing, not because the magic is no good. It's because I think that it has been performed too many times by too many magicians and all that.
But here's this thing where I'm going back to the idea of like social media, the social media game, right? Because it kind of like filtrate everything to. I don't know. Yeah, that is part of me. I just go like, the one thing I like about social media is it give you exposure. It give you like it sets,
everybody's on a fair playing field.
Yes.
So,
So if you all you need is just some equipment to go on social media, right?
Yep.
Then there's this part of me where just don't like about social media is where it kind of like push to a certain form of craft that you're doing that only appeals to a certain group of people. Like there is or how should I say, it only it filtrates down to what the mass media would like, which I am a little bit is it that does it will be end of the day? Because I think that if Shin Lim were to do magic again onto social media, he remain at okay, let's just say someone who is unknown, right? Who likes Shin Lim a lot. Who's unknown to and he does all this magic thing, the epic magic thing. I don't think he will gain as much views or he will gain in popularity as much as say a guy who knows how to engage the audience member a lot more.
Yes
because
and no. So you see, nobody knew about Shin Lim until when he was world champion in Magic. the general public didn't know about him.
But that's only when, but you pull, if he doesn't do the thing he does, right? So if he doesn't do the thing he does, he did the back then. So he just pull like pure social media game. So it's like like he may not work as well, right?
Yes and no lah. I feel that, like, for example, if you take me for example, not everybody likes my magic.
No.
And I've learned this the hard way. You cannot please everybody. Even David Copperfield, some people don't like his magic. Some people love his magic, right? Because of his storytelling and all that kind of stuff, right? And just some people just don't like. Some people prefer the fast-paced social media, kind of thing. It's like, so you cannot please everybody. So what I would suggest is do what you love. At the same time, find balance of what people like to watch. That way, you get the best of both worlds. You know what kind of jokes would make people laugh. And then there are jokes that you, for yourself, is funny, right? It might not appeal to the mass crowd or mass media, but, there will be people who will like the type of jokes that you find funny. That's the whole point. Like, it is better to build an engaging community that is niched and strong than to have a number that says I got 1 million followers, but then the engagement is very low.
Here's this thing about the followers. Do event companies or do you sell?
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So here's this thing, right? Do people see the followers with or because that's in your CV, that's in your repertoire?
So back to how I started magic, 20 over years, right? And never in my lifetime I would think that social media could be something to sell my shows. It was always traditional email. I would send a download link to my promo video and then a PDF of my photo, write up what I do, my accolades and all that kind of thing, clients that I perform for. That's how I usually sell myself to event companies. And then how dinner and dance functions work in Singapore is that each company, they will have a committee that will be various different, it could be one department, it could be various different departments to get input from, what they like from their department. This committee will come together and then they will work with the events company. So at the end of the dinner for the whole company will be committee and events company. This committee used to be all the, sorry, no offense here, but the older generation of people, right? And then these days, they have, of course, when they start to retire and all that kind of thing and stuff, new people has to come. And it's usually the younger generation. Because this kind of fun stuff, leave it to the young generation. They know how to have fun, right? Makes sense. And so now the young generation are looking at social media presence. Like, okay, I know you can do your shows and all that kind of stuff. What else can you do? Why do we want to hire you? Right? Yes, you can customize magic. Good. But like,
What else?
do we know you? In some other, right? So you see, if, okay, I'll put this very bluntly. Now this event company put you against Kumar. Right? Oh, I got these two comedians, Gary and Kumar. And then now you be like, oh, okay. So both funny, right? Like if they put me against another, both can do magic, right? So what makes Kumar different, or what makes Gary stand out more? That kind of thing, right? So you never know one, because this goes on behind the scenes, right? You don't know who they're proposing, all that kind of thing. They might find Kumar offensive because this is a very traditional company, right? They might think that Kumar is offensive. Gary seems like, clean comedy and all that kind of thing. Video looks good, people having a good time. What else can I see from him? Apart from this video, your promo video, what else can I see from him? I want to know that person. Kuma we know, national icon, right? We already know what he can do or what she can do. And then now, Gary, never heard of him, but what else can I see? Oh, yeah. He has 100,000 social media following on Instagram, and he posts this like short form comedy videos of his shows and all that. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, funny, good. Okay, we'll have Gary. Right. So social media does help in this day and age. Doesn't matter follower count. Again, these are just vanity numbers. It feels good, yes. And you shouldn't compare yourself with anybody. What you should do is to constantly make content and post consistently so that your followers will start to grow. At one point, somehow or other, when the algorithm gods smile at you, you go viral, and then you'll go, and people ask you, hey, how do you go viral? I don't know. Really? It is just consistently posting, engagement and all that kind of thing, and tweaking every video to make it better than your last one. Whether it's the content you make, lighting, sound, video quality. If you can just make your newest video slightly better than your last video, good enough. And just constantly building. I feel that is like the best way to kind of work social media. Yes, having good number of followers and all that kind of thing, vanity number, looks good, feels good for the content creator. It also doubles as a okay, I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's not everything. Say for example now, how do you post like your content on social media, all that kind of stuff?
So I don't post comedy content
No.
because I think that I'm still doing for shit for
Yeah. Okay.
So this is why I posted online.
The podcast lah.
Yeah, the podcast.
Okay. So you see, it's better to have like, if you have 1,000 followers that like your thing and will support you, like, oh, okay, I'm having a show at this place, come and support me, and out of the 1,000, 500 come, right? Better than if somebody has a huge social media following, but then when they have show, oh no, I'm not gonna go watch, So building a strong community is good lah. Not saying that. So okay lah, you must always find balance lah, right? You must find balance between, like, you might think that, oh, okay, I have like 200K on TikTok. You think, wow, shit, I'll never hit that in this lifetime. I started the same one. January of 2021, 0 followers, right? Started posting video, and through the analytics, see the comments, started realizing, oh, okay, maybe I should start talking to the viewer, because as a viewer scrolling through the feed, I want to be engaged, right? I don't want to just I won't watch every video. Sometimes the first frame comes out and I scroll away already, right? I'm guilty of that. And so what makes it interesting? So you just keep improving, right? And then everything grows organically. Once people find like you and all that kind of thing, like your personality, or maybe like your jokes, or maybe the one thing that you do at the start of every video or at the end of every video, then there are content creators of every kind. There are people who just talk to the camera and tell you daily quotes, right?
Oh yeah.
And then there are people who go on a podcast and then tell you conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah.
There are comedy skits, right? One man acting as different characters, right? Asian mom, then you dress as in a wig and all that kind of thing, So there are different kinds of people that will follow different kinds of. So as a content creator, it has to either be entertainment or educational. Sometimes, and I follow both schools also. So sometimes I just don't feel like listening to daily quotes. I just want to like laugh my ass off and I just keep scrolling until I find some comedy thing or that kind of thing. So sorry. Yeah, so like if you want to do this, then start building. I think in our lifetime, social media
Will be the thing.
it is definitely the thing. In fact, like they have categorized, and I hate this word, influencers, into different categories. There is nano influencer, micro, and all that, right? And ultimately, it is what you want out of it. Like for me, I always say this in my videos also. What is your why? Why did you want to post videos of yourself to the internet for the whole world to see? What is your why? So when I first started, my why was to just entertain people who are stuck at home because of the global pandemic, right? And they hopefully bring some entertainment to their dark lives, right? And then slowly it became, actually people like magic. And then they start commenting. Can you teach us? How do you do that? Or what? How? Then when you start replying, then actually this guy actually engages with with the small community that he has, And so when people start to engage, then they will start sharing to other people and all that kind of thing, and then just more and more people will start to watch your thing. But you have to start somewhere. And you need to know your why. If you don't know your why, then And
Does your why evolve?
Yes, it does. So when I first started, my why was to entertain people during pandemic. Now the whole world seems to be okay now, right? So the why now changes. I mean, still to entertain, but then to add on, I want to be the face and voice of magic in Singapore. That's the goal I want to reach. Like,
Is it a conscious thing?
Conscious.
Do you purposefully choose this path, or you just
No leh. So like I say, magic had a bad name and all that kind of thing. I want people. It's hard for me to say I want the whole world to think that magic guy on TikTok. There are so many other magicians on TikTok that has even 10 times my following, 20 million followers, right? And then, so for me, I just want to be like, I know you in Singapore. Yeah, you are the magician on Instagram, you are the magician on Facebook, you are the magician on TikTok. And let them know that magic is not lame, not bluff people one. Magic can be entertaining, at the same time educational, right? And try and bring magic back to its good name. Because always magic 你做魔术骗人的啦 and like 你看篮球也是骗人的，他这样也是骗到你啊right? So I try and bring magic to a good name. But same for comedians, stand-up comedians also.
I mean, at some level, I think comedy can. How should I say? Comedy can tackle some social media, some social issues.
Yeah, of course.
But
especially like trending issues and all that kind of stuff.
But then again, it also, I don't know. I do not know what is comedy anymore. Because there's a lot of times where it becomes like a preach, right?
I see,
like you see like late night comedians doing things. I still love to talk to some of them. I still but we're still like, it's more like okay, look, I'm better than you, and here's why, and stuff like that, and why the other guy is wrong, and why not right, and like, okay, I don't know whether I can follow this path. But apparently a lot of people are doing the same.
I guess what stand-up comedians do is that make them stand out is that they are relatable, and acts as the inner voice of the audience. As an audience, like I want to say this at the back of my mind or with my partner or whatever, we talk about this, but yet you say it openly on stage, and that's why I can relate to you, you know, and I find it funny because that's exactly what happens, right? And maybe there's a particular incident, like maybe on the way to take an airplane, right? And you talk about the guy who checks your luggage and all that kind of thing. Like every time you gonna like ask you to put your luggage on the thing, open up and check and all that kind of thing. And then you are the same kind of person that always gonna, because I don't know, got a criminal face like myself. Whenever I come back to Singapore, take my luggage, every single time I have to go through that thing, right? And then they selectively pick people. Like me and my wife, like she goes away, and then I'm the one that has to carry the luggage and put it on the conveyor belt one more time just to x-ray and check again. And so when people can relate to, you know, these kind of things, that's where I think stand-up comedy triumphs. It's the same as singers when they sing a song that you love, because when I was at this emotional state, I listened to this song and it got me through. Now you sing this song and you know you did it amazingly. Wow, I felt it, right? So that's what I also am trying to do with magic. I try to create stories or experiences to weave into the magic I perform.
Do your story more personal, or are your story more topical? In a
So-
sense, there's a distance between yourself.
So a mixture of both, right? So in my show, I do this particular trick. It's, imagine this, 4 blocks of wood. Okay, one of them contains a knife or a nail or a spike, and then there are 4 cups that cover these blocks of wood, and they're being mixed around. And then the magician or the mind reader is supposed to guess and sense which one is safe, and then smash their hand down into this, right? At the core, this is what it is, this effect. But why would anybody care about this effect? Nobody cares about this effect. It is something that is not commonly seen and all that kind of thing. So how do I make it so that people care, right? And the way I do it is I say that, you know, if you search on YouTube, magician fails, you will see this video clip doing this trick, magicians doing this trick on live television, in their live shows and all that kind of thing, and they fail. They impale themselves with the knife that goes through their hand, or sometimes with the TV host hand, and they impale themselves. Now people go, oh shit, right? Some might have seen the video and they know what I'm talking about. And then those who have never seen the video, now they are kind of emotionally hooked. Why? Because after I tell this story and all that, but don't worry, I brought it with me. Doom, right? And then the lady audience or whatever that is already on stage will go like, oh shit, now we're gonna do this, right? If it fails, is it gonna be my fault? That kind of thing, right? So now everybody is engaged. If I were to just, oh, look, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks of wood with a knife here. Can you come and cover them, mix them up? Pam, pam, pam. Thank you. Haha, I found the knife, right? Interesting, what?
Yeah.
Right? They are not emotionally engaged with me. So having stories will definitely, for me, always, good story always wins. 100%.
I think that's a good way to end this episode. A good story for audience.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing this.